I always thought I had a good marriage. Not perfect, no marriage ever is, but solid, secure, built on trust. That's what I told myself, at least. My name is Emma Hayes, and for 11 years I believed in my husband, Liam Hayes. We had a beautiful home, stable careers, and what seemed like an unbreakable bond. But now, as I sit here staring at my phone, my entire world feels like it's caving in. My hands tremble as I zoom in on the photo I just found on Facebook. There he is, Liam, my husband, smiling, holding a glass of champagne, his arm wrapped around a woman I've never seen before. They're standing in front of a luxury mountain resort, surrounded by people, laughter, and twinkling lights. But Liam isn't supposed to be at a resort. He's supposed to be in the wilderness on a business retreat. I feel my stomach twist into knots. He lied. The betrayal is suffocating, but what's worse is how meticulously he planned it. Just yesterday morning, he kissed me goodbye, telling me how much he'd miss me, promising a weekend of no distractions, no cell service, just nature and self-reflection. His duffel bag was packed with camping gear, his voice so sincere that I had no reason to doubt him. "You need this time for yourself," I had told him, completely unaware of the real reason he wanted to be away. And now, staring at that image, my heart pounds against my chest. Who is she? I scroll through the tagged photos, my pulse racing. Her name is Olivia Marks, and the way she leans into him, the way her fingers rest lightly on his chest. It's too intimate, too familiar. It's not just a random acquaintance. She knows my husband. I feel like I can't breathe. My mind rushes back to the past few months, all the little signs I ignored. Liam's sudden interest in his appearance, new clothes, expensive cologne, late nights at work. The way he guarded his phone, turning the screen away from me whenever a message popped up. How he had stopped touching me the way he used to, his kisses turning mechanical, his "I love yous" starting to sound rehearsed. And then, the trip. The business retreat he suddenly had to go on. Everything clicks into place. I grab my phone and call his number. It rings, once, twice, 3 times. No answer. I try again. Nothing. Of course, he won't pick up. I can picture him now, sitting in that resort with Olivia, sipping champagne, laughing, while I sit here in our home, drowning in disbelief. Tears sting my eyes, but anger quickly replaces the hurt. I will not be the clueless wife he plays for a fool. I open my laptop, my hands still shaking, and start typing Olivia's name into Google. Within seconds, I find her social media. Her Instagram is filled with posts, lavish vacations, expensive dinners, high-end shopping trips. My stomach turns when I recognize a watch on her wrist. Liam has the same one. The caption beneath the image reads, "The best gifts come from the best man." I feel like I'm going to be sick. Frantic, I go back to her Facebook page, scrolling through old posts. And then I see it. A photo from 6 months ago. Liam and Olivia in a candlelit restaurant, celebrating 6 months of happiness. 6 months? He has been seeing her for half a year, and I had no idea. My world tilts. This isn't just an affair. This is a second life. I slam my laptop shut, my breaths coming in shallow gasps. My mind screams at me to call him, to confront him, to demand answers. But I know Liam. He'll lie. He'll twist the truth. He'll tell me I'm crazy. Number not this time. Instead, I grab a notepad and begin writing down every detail, every transaction, every suspicious change in his behavior, every moment that doesn't add up. I need proof. I need a plan. Because one thing is certain, Liam Hayes has no idea what's coming for him.
The moment I close my laptop, my mind shifts into survival mode. I can't fall apart now, not when I'm standing on the edge of uncovering something much bigger than an affair. I take a deep breath, trying to steady the whirlwind of emotions raging inside me. Anger, betrayal, humiliation, but above all, a gnawing need for the truth. I grab my phone and dial Liam's number again, straight to voicemail. He turned his phone off. Coward. I stare at the screen, my pulse pounding against my temples. I could text him, demand an explanation, but what's the point? He'll just lie. He's already proven that deception comes easily to him. No, I need to be smarter. I pull up our shared bank account, something I rarely checked because Liam was always the one handling our finances. Big mistake. As soon as I log in, my heart nearly stops. A $25,000 wire transfer to Cascade Resorts 2 weeks ago. My breath catches in my throat. He paid for that trip, a trip he told me was a corporate retreat covered by his company. But that's not all. My fingers tighten around the phone as I scroll through past transactions. Another $12,000 spent at high-end jewelry stores, 5-star restaurants, designer boutiques, none of it for me. My vision blurs. How long has this been going on? I move to our savings account, but when I try to access it, an error message pops up. Unauthorized. Password changed. I swallow hard. He locked me out. My pulse races as I stand up, my mind spinning. This is bigger than just cheating. Liam has been systematically moving money, hiding assets, and I have no idea how much he's already taken. I rush upstairs to our bedroom, yanking open his closet, his suit jackets, his expensive ties, all neatly in place. But then I spot it, a small black lockbox tucked in the back corner. It's something I've seen before but never paid attention to. My hands tremble as I pull it out, my heart hammering. I try to open it, locked. I stare at the combination dial, my breath shallow. What would he use as a code? I try his birthday, nothing. Our anniversary, still nothing. Then, with shaking fingers, I punch in the year we bought our house. Click. The lid pops open. Inside, my worst fears are confirmed. A second phone. I grab it, my hands clammy as I press the power button. It lights up instantly, unlocked. Sloppy, Liam. The moment the screen loads, my stomach churns. Hundreds of messages, and not just from Olivia. Other women, different names, different numbers, some messages dating back over 2 years. I feel like the air has been sucked out of the room. This isn't just an affair. This is a pattern. I scroll through Olivia's messages first. I can't wait for this weekend. Just you and me, no distractions. Are you bringing the necklace? Love waking up next to you. When are you telling her? I don't like sharing you, Liam. You promised me we'd have our life together. My grip tightens around the phone. She thinks I know. She thinks he's leaving me. I swipe over to another conversation. Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again. Tell me again how much better I am than your wife. A guttural sound escapes my throat. How could he do this to me? My entire marriage, a lie. Tears sting my eyes, but I don't let them fall. Not yet. I need to finish this. I need to know everything. I go back to the lockbox, my fingers brushing over the other contents, a set of keys, and then a property deed. My breath catches as I read the address. Not our house, not our vacation home. A second property, one I never knew about. My hands shake as I process what this means. Liam wasn't just planning a getaway with Olivia. He was setting up a new life, a permanent one. And I was never meant to find out. I slam the box shut, my breath coming in short gasps. This isn't just about betrayal anymore. This is about survival. Liam is moving money, buying property, and setting up a life that doesn't include me. And I refuse to let him blindside me. I grab my phone and take photos of every document, every text message, every piece of evidence I've uncovered. If Liam thinks he can walk away from this unscathed, he's about to learn just how wrong he is, because I'm not the woman he thinks I am, and he has no idea what's coming next.
I sit at the kitchen table, my hands clenched around my phone, the screen still glowing with the damning evidence of Liam's betrayal. My marriage, 12 years of my life, was nothing more than an illusion. The weight of it all crashes down on me, but I refuse to let it consume me. Not yet. I have too much to do. I press the call button. The phone rings once, twice. On the third ring, my sister Rachel picks up. Cassie, what's wrong? Her voice is groggy. She must have just woken up. I suck in a breath. He's been lying to me, Rachel. Not just cheating, hiding money, buying property. There's another woman, maybe more, and he locked me out of our accounts. The words spill out, my voice shaking, but I don't let myself break. There's silence on the other end, then a sharp intake of breath. Are you safe? I think so, for now, but I need help. I don't even know where to start. First things first, Rachel says, her voice taking on that no-nonsense tone she gets when she's in lawyer mode. You need copies of everything, bank statements, property records, anything in both your names. We need to find out what he's done and how deep this goes. I nod, even though she can't see me. Already on it, I found a lockbox with documents. There's a second property, Rachel, a condo I never knew about. A long pause. Then, he's planning to leave you. The words land like a punch to the stomach, but deep down, I already knew. I swallow back the lump in my throat. Not without a fight. Rachel exhales sharply. I'll be on the next flight out. Don't confront him alone. Act normal until I get there. You hear me? I nod again. I hear you. But as I hang up, dread coils in my stomach, because I don't have time to wait. I spend the next hour printing everything I can find. Bank records, property deeds, transaction history, each document another nail in the coffin of our marriage. My fingers are ice cold as I highlight the numbers that don't add up, the hidden accounts Liam never told me about. By the time I finish, it's nearly midnight and my head is pounding. I sit back in my chair, pressing my palms to my temples. I need to think. I need to plan. Then my phone buzzes. I glance at the screen, and my blood turns to ice. It's Liam. For a split second, I consider ignoring it. But no. I need to know what he's thinking. I swipe to answer. Hey, I say, forcing my voice to sound groggy, like I just woke up. Hey, babe. Liam's voice is smooth, casual, like he isn't living a double life, like he isn't about to throw away everything we built. Just checking in? You okay? I force out a tired chuckle. Yeah, of course, just getting ready for bed. How's the trip? There's a brief hesitation. He wasn't expecting that. It's good, just a lot of hiking, no cell service most of the time, but I found a spot with reception. Wanted to say goodnight. I grip the phone tighter, forcing my voice to stay calm. That's sweet of you. Miss you, he says, and the words almost make me sick. Miss you, too, I lie. There's another pause. Then, everything okay at home? My heart kicks up a notch. He suspects something. I glance at the table, covered in evidence. If he knew what I'd found, he wouldn't be calling to check in. He'd be running. Yeah, everything's fine. Just work stuff, Busy day. Liam exhales, as if relieved. Good. Hey, listen. When I get back, we should talk. About us. A chill runs down my spine. Talk? About what? Just where we are, what we want. I feel like things have been off, and maybe we need a fresh start. I nearly dropped the phone. A fresh start? Is that what he calls abandoning me? I clench my jaw so tightly it hurts. I want to scream at him, demand answers, call him out for his lies. But I can't. Not yet. So instead, I let out a small sigh. I think that's a good idea. We should talk. Yeah, we'll figure it out, babe. I love you. I stare at the ceiling, my fingers tightening around the phone. I love you too. I hang up and throw the phone onto the table. My whole body is shaking. He's setting me up, preparing me for the blow. He thinks he's going to come home, feed me some carefully crafted story, and walk away with everything. He thinks I'm clueless. A slow, cold anger settles in my chest. Let him believe that, because when Liam walks through that door, expecting to find a blind, unsuspecting wife, he's going to find a woman who's ready to burn his entire world to the ground. The morning after my call with Liam, I wake up with a single thought. I have to be 2 steps ahead of him. The house is eerily quiet as I slip out of bed, my mind already racing through the next steps. The documents, the evidence, the plan. I need to solidify everything before he returns, before he has a chance to manipulate his way out of this. I make coffee, the rich aroma filling the kitchen as I sit at the table, staring at the pile of papers I collected last night. The bank statements, the property purchase agreement, the hidden accounts, every piece of evidence a reminder of the man I thought I knew. And then, something new. An email. My phone vibrates and I glance at the screen. It's from our joint bank. Subject line, large withdrawal alert. My stomach clenches. Number no, no, no. I open it, my heart slamming against my ribs as I read the words. A withdrawal of $20,000 has been made from your joint account. I gasp, my hand flying to my mouth. He's moving the money. He knows. I spring into action, grabbing my laptop and logging into the account. But I'm met with an error message. Access denied. You bastard, I whisper, gripping the edge of the table. He's cutting me off, trying to leave me with nothing. But he's too late. I already have copies of everything. Screenshots, account numbers, transaction records. He thinks he's winning, but I'm already ahead of him. I dial Rachel's number, pacing the kitchen. Cassie? She picks up immediately. What's wrong? He's moving the money. He withdrew $20,000 this morning, and I can't access our account. A pause. Then, that son of a... What do I do? I cut her off, my voice shaking. We freeze it. Now I'll call the bank. You get to the credit union and open an individual account. Move whatever you can before he touches more. I nod, already grabbing my purse. Okay, I'm going now. I don't even bother changing out of my sweatpants. I throw on a hoodie, grab my keys, and race out the door. At the bank, the teller looks at me with mild confusion as I slam my ID and paperwork onto the counter. I need to open a new account, immediately. The woman blinks but nods. Of course, ma'am. Let's get started. 20 minutes later, I have a new checking and savings account, completely separate from Liam. I transfer as much money as I can from my personal funds, thankful I'd kept a small emergency stash separate from our joint assets. It's not much, but it's something. As I step outside, my phone vibrates again. This time, it's a text. Liam. Hey babe, just checking in. Hope everything's okay. I stare at the message, my fingers tightening around the phone. Liam is testing me. He's making sure I haven't noticed what he's done. He's playing his game. I take a deep breath and force my hands to stop shaking before I type back. Hey love, everything's good. Just working on my illustrations today. Can't wait for you to get home. I press send. Then I smile, because while Liam thinks I'm waiting for him, clueless and trusting, I'm preparing for war. The air in the house feels different now, charged, electric with tension I can't ignore. Every breath I take feels deliberate, measured, controlled. Because now I know the truth, and I know what I have to do. Liam's betrayal isn't just an affair, isn't just stolen money. It's a systematic erasure of everything we built together. And he thinks I'll crumble under the weight of his deception. He's wrong. I stand in the living room, staring at the space that once felt like home. The framed wedding photos are still on the mantel. The couch where we used to watch movies still smells faintly of his cologne, but it all feels foreign now, like a museum of a life that never truly existed. Then, the sound of tires on the driveway. My heart pounds against my ribs, but my expression remains carefully neutral as I move toward the front door. Through the peephole, I see Liam stepping out of his car, a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. He looks relaxed, almost smug, as if he's walking into his domain, his territory. I step back, inhale deeply, then open the door with a practiced smile. Hey, babe, he says, leaning in to kiss my cheek. I let him, for now. Hey, I reply softly, forcing warmth into my tone. How was the trip? Amazing, he sighs, dropping his bag onto the floor. Really gave me time to think. I bet it did. Good, I say, watching him carefully as he heads toward the kitchen. He moves easily, unbothered, completely unaware that I know everything. That I've already seen the photos, the bank transactions, the lies. He stretches, loosening his shoulders. Man, I missed this place. And you. I swallow the bile rising in my throat and force a shy smile. I missed you too. Because I need him to believe me. I need him to let his guard down. Let me just take a shower real quick, he says, grabbing his phone off the counter. Then we can have dinner. I want to talk to you about something important. I already know what. He's going to tell me he's been thinking a lot about our future, that maybe it's time for us to make some financial changes, some smart investments, like the one he already made with my money. I nod. Take your time. As soon as he disappears into the bathroom, I grab my phone and text Rachel. He's home. Be ready. Then, I move quickly. I reach under the couch where I hid the folder. My insurance. Every document, every screenshot, every damning piece of evidence I've gathered over the past 2 days. I place it on the dining table right where he can't miss it. He'll walk out of that bathroom into a completely different reality. I stand there, staring at the proof of his betrayal, my heart pounding. This is it. The moment of truth. Then, the water shuts off. I hear the sound of Liam moving around, the rustling of towels, the door creaking open. My breath catches as his footsteps echo down the hall. And then, Cassie? What's all this? I turn around slowly, meeting his confused gaze as he stares at the folder. My lips curl into a small, victorious smile. You tell me, Liam. Liam's face shifts from confusion to something more calculated. His blue eyes flick from the open folder on the dining table to my expression, as if measuring how much I know. Cassie, he starts, his voice carefully modulated. What is this? I don't answer immediately. Instead, I step closer, allowing the silence to stretch between us, watching the way his Adam's apple bobs as he swallows. He knows. He knows he's been caught, but he hasn't figured out how much I've uncovered. Go ahead, I say, my voice calm, almost eerily so. Take a look. Liam hesitates before slowly reaching for the documents. His expression remains unreadable as he flips through the pages. The bank statements first, showing the $50,000 transfer to an account under his name. Then the real estate purchase agreement, the luxury condo he bought without me, with our money. And finally, the screenshots. Photos of him with her. The woman he took to that so-called work retreat. The woman he planned a future with, while I sat at home trusting him. His fingers tighten around the edge of the paper. Where did you get these? Does it matter? I counter smoothly. His jaw clenches. I can see it now. The gears turning, his mind scrambling for a way out. A way to twist this, to manipulate me, to convince me that I'm wrong, that I'm overreacting. But I won't be manipulated. Not anymore. Cassie, he exhales sharply, running a hand through his damp hair. Listen, this isn't what it looks like. A bitter laugh escapes my lips before I can stop it. Oh, really? So you didn't steal our savings to fund your little love nest? You didn't lie to my face and tell me you were going on a camping trip while you were actually at a luxury resort with another woman? His eyes harden. It's complicated. No, Liam, it's actually very simple, I say, stepping forward. My voice doesn't waver. I won't let him turn this around. You lied, you cheated, and you stole from me. I watch as his confident facade starts to crack. Cass, please. He reaches for my hand, but I step back, out of his grasp. The rejection stings him. I can see it in the brief flicker of something in his eyes. But I'm done letting him touch me with those hands that have betrayed me. Why? I demand, my voice rising now, all the control I've held in check threatening to spill over. Why, Liam? If you didn't want this life, why not just leave? Why build an entire second life behind my back? His nostrils flare. You don't understand. Then make me understand. For a moment, I think he might tell me the truth. That he might break, might confess the whole disgusting reality of it. But then his face shifts, hardens, and I know exactly what's coming. You weren't supposed to find out this way, he says instead, and I feel the air leave my lungs. Not an apology, not remorse, just regret that I caught him. A cold wave of realization crashes over me. Liam never intended to come clean. He was going to keep stringing me along until he was ready to walk away on his terms, until his new life was set up, and I had nothing left. He watches me, waiting for a reaction, for me to cry, to beg, to scream, but I won't give him the satisfaction. Instead, I exhale slowly, my resolve hardening like steel. Well, you're going to find out something too, I say, stepping past him toward the door. His brow furrows. What are you talking about? The sound of a car pulling into the driveway answers him before I can. Liam turns just in time to see Rachel's car stopping in front of the house. You're not the only one who's been making plans, I say. His eyes snap back to me, something between suspicion and panic flashing across his face. What did you do? He asks, his voice lower now, more dangerous. I smile, but there's no warmth in it. Why don't you step outside and find out? Liam hesitates, his eyes darting from me to the car outside. His fingers twitch at his sides, fists curling and uncurling as he processes the situation. He isn't used to this. He isn't used to losing control. Cassie. His voice drops an octave, attempting to coax me, to soften my resolve. The same voice he's used to talk me down, to manipulate me, to twist the narrative in his favor. We don't have to do this. Let's just talk, just you and me. I let the silence stretch between us, watching the flicker of unease in his eyes grow. I won't be manipulated, not this time. You had plenty of chances to talk, Liam, I say finally, my voice steady despite the chaos storming inside me. But now, it's my turn. The sound of a car door slamming outside makes Liam flinch. He knows whoever's in that car isn't here for him. I step aside, gesturing toward the door. Go on, I say. Meet the woman who's about to ruin your perfect plan. His hesitation is brief, but in that second, I see it. The flicker of genuine fear. Not because he's afraid of me, but because he's afraid of what I've done. Slowly, like a man walking toward his execution, Liam moves to the front door. He pulls it open just as Rachel steps out of the car. Amber Davis follows behind her. For the first time since this whole nightmare began, Liam is speechless. Rachel's face is unreadable as she approaches, her heels clicking against the pavement. But Amber's expression is pure rage. Her normally composed features twist with betrayal. Liam, she says, voice sharp enough to cut glass. Are you going to invite us in? Liam stiffens. He knows. He knows if they step inside, if this conversation happens, everything falls apart. I don't know what you think you know. Cut the crap, Amber snaps. She isn't playing his games. She shoves a manila folder against his chest, forcing him to grab it or let it fall. You've been lying to both of us, and now? Now you're going to explain yourself. He opens the folder out of instinct, eyes scanning the contents, and then his face drains of color. Where did you get these? I fold my arms, leaning against the doorway. That's not really important, is it? Rachel steps forward, her voice measured but firm. What's important is that we all see the truth now, Liam. Amber tilts her head, watching him. You told me you had an open marriage, that Cassie was fine with it. You told me she knew. Her voice wavers, and I see the pain behind the anger. She wasn't just another woman. She was another victim of Liam's lies. Amber, listen. No. She holds up a hand, silencing him. You don't get to do that. You don't get to control this anymore. Liam's jaw clenches, his composure slipping fast. This isn't the place for this conversation. No. I raise an eyebrow. Because I think it's the perfect place. You built your entire web of lies under this roof, Liam. It's only fair that it all comes crashing down here, too. He turns to me then, and for the first time, I see him. Not the charming, confident man I married, but the liar, the manipulator, the man who thought he could take everything from me and never pay the price. You planned this, he accuses, his voice low, controlled. I did, I say simply. His nostrils flare. You think you've won? I think you finally lost. For the first time since discovering the truth, I feel it. The power shifting. The walls of Liam's carefully constructed deception crumbling around him. And I'm the one holding the match.
Liam stares at me, his eyes dark with something that flickers between fury and panic. He's calculating, I can see it, the gears turning in his head as he scrambles for a way out, a way to manipulate, to twist this into something that benefits him. Cassie, he says, his voice a strained attempt at control. You don't have to do this. Think about what you're doing. Think about us. I scoff, folding my arms. Us? You mean the marriage you threw away when you built a life with another woman? Or the money you siphoned from our accounts to fund that little dream? Rachel steps closer, her presence like a silent storm. She's staring at Liam as if she can see straight through him, through all the years of lies. You really thought you'd get away with this, didn't you? She says, voice even, but laced with something dangerous. Amber is breathing heavily beside her, gripping her phone so tightly her knuckles are white. You told me you loved me, Liam. That we were planning a future together. She lets out a bitter laugh. But I was just a pawn, wasn't I? Just another piece in your stupid little game. Liam's mask finally cracks. He clenches his jaw, losing his patience. He was hoping to sweet-talk his way out of this, but now he knows that won't work. You don't understand. Oh, we understand just fine, I cut him off. And so does my lawyer. I watch as his face drops. That's the real punch to the gut, isn't it? The realization that this isn't just an emotional confrontation. It's legal. I step forward, letting him feel the weight of what's coming. You think I didn't come prepared? Every single bank statement, every fraudulent transfer, every little secret investment you tried to keep from me, it's all documented. And now it's in the hands of my attorney, the district attorney, and the financial fraud unit. Liam pales. You wouldn't do that. I tilt my head, mocking his disbelief. Wouldn't I? Because I already have. Amber's phone dings. She glances down, her lips curling in satisfaction as she holds it up. Speaking of lawyers, she turns the screen to Liam. Guess what? I just filed a formal complaint against you for financial misrepresentation and fraud. My lawyer says I have an excellent case, considering the evidence. Rachel exhales sharply. You're done, Liam. And for the first time in his life, Liam looks truly cornered. I see it, the moment he realizes there's no escape, no version of this where he walks away unscathed. His eyes dart between us, but none of us are on his side. His control is gone. You set me up, he spits, his voice laced with venom. No, I say, stepping even closer until I can see the sweat beading on his forehead. You set yourself up the moment you decided to betray me. Silence hangs thick in the air, stretching as Liam clenches his fists. His whole body tenses like a coiled spring, and for a second, I wonder if he's about to explode. Then, with a sharp breath, he laughs, a low, humorless laugh that sends chills down my spine. You really think this is the end? He murmurs, shaking his head. You think you've won? I meet his gaze, unflinching. I don't think, Liam. I know. I reach for my phone and pull up my last message, a simple screenshot of the court summons, the one his lawyer will receive by morning. I turn the screen toward him and watch his face crumble. Now get out of my house. For the first time, he listens. He steps back, jaw tight, eyes burning with fury. But there's nothing left for him to say. No more lies, no more manipulations. He lost, and as the door slams behind him, I finally feel free. The silence after Liam left was deafening. For a moment, none of us moved. It was as if we were collectively holding our breath, waiting to see if he'd come back, if he'd try one last desperate attempt to regain control. But the door remained shut, No footsteps came stomping back. He was gone. Rachel let out a breath first, running a hand through her hair. Holy shit. Amber sank into the chair, rubbing her temples. I could see the exhaustion in her posture, the weight of realization crashing down on her. He's not going to give up that easily, she murmured. I know, I admitted. Liam was the type of man who never accepted defeat, who never let go without a fight. He'd built his life on manipulation, on controlling the people around him. And now, that power had been ripped away. I had seen it in his eyes, the pure, seething rage underneath the panic. He wasn't just angry at losing. He was furious that I had outsmarted him. Amber looked at me then, and for the first time since we had met as enemies, I saw genuine understanding in her gaze. We need to be prepared, she said quietly. He's going to retaliate. Rachel straightened, her lawyer instincts kicking in. Let him try. We've already got the evidence. His financial fraud alone could bury him, and if he even thinks about harassment, that restraining order will turn into criminal charges so fast he won't know what hit him. I nodded, gripping my phone. We have everything we need. He can't escape this. But that didn't mean he wouldn't try. The next few weeks were a blur of legal meetings, paperwork, and endless phone calls. My lawyer, Claire, was relentless. She went after everything Liam had stolen from me, every financial asset he had hidden, every deceitful transfer he had made. And Liam? He fought. Oh, he fought. First, he tried to claim I was emotionally unstable, that I was acting out of revenge, that my claims of fraud were exaggerated, and that I was just a bitter wife trying to destroy his career. The court didn't buy it. Then he tried to negotiate. Suddenly, he was remorseful, full of apologies, sending emails and messages begging me to settle out of court. He wanted to make a deal. He wanted to keep his career, keep his assets, and give me as little as possible to just make this all go away. I refused. Liam had spent years controlling me. But this was my fight now, and I wasn't backing down. Amber, for her part, held her ground too. She filed her own lawsuit for financial misrepresentation. And when she handed over screenshots of their text messages detailing exactly how he had used her money under false pretenses, the judge didn't hesitate to side with her. Liam wasn't just losing. He was falling apart. The final blow came 3 months later. I sat in the courtroom, my hands steady on the table as the judge read the final ruling. Liam was found guilty of financial fraud. He was ordered to return every stolen cent. He lost his house, his career, his credibility. Amber won her case too. The court ruled that Liam had knowingly deceived her, and she was awarded a full refund of her lost money, plus damages. I didn't smile. Not yet. I waited until Liam turned to look at me, his once arrogant face now pale, his eyes hollow with disbelief. This was his nightmare. He had spent so long thinking he was untouchable. But in the end, he had played himself. I stood up, gathering my things. As I turned to walk out of that courtroom, I felt something shift inside me. It was over, truly, finally, over. And for the first time in years, I felt free. Lesson learned and call to action. At the end of the day, betrayal isn't just about broken trust. It's about realizing who truly deserves a place in your life. Liam thought he could deceive, manipulate, and control me. But in the end, his own lies became his downfall. This experience wasn't just about uncovering an affair. It was about discovering my own strength, my own worth, and my right to a life free from deception. Too often, people stay in toxic relationships out of fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of the unknown. But what I've learned is that freedom is always worth the risk. The moment I chose myself over his lies was the moment I took back my power. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Have you ever faced betrayal? How did you handle it? Your stories might help others going through the same situation. Don't forget to like this video if you want more real-life cheating stories with twists, suspense, and justice served. And most importantly, subscribe to Men's Cheating Story so you don't miss out on the next shocking, revenge-filled story. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. On Fire,